Hi, I'm Tim Tuller, Canon for Music, and I'm here to say a couple words about the music for this Sunday, the 7th of September. This Sunday, our prelude is the moderato and larghetto sections of the Serenade for Strings by Antonin Dvorak. Dvorak was a Bohemian composer, and he certainly is not someone who's normally associated with organ music. He did write a few organ pieces. He wrote 8 preludes and fugues for the organ, but these were early student works, and they certainly aren't in any way indicative of his mature compositional style, and they're really not ever performed. I've never heard or seen those pieces actually performed. But these couple of movements from the Serenade for Strings as transcription really works really well on the organ, and it's a very tuneful piece. The offertory anthem this Sunday is by a composer, we don't know who the composer was. It's an anonymous piece written sometime probably in the 16th century. We can tell by its style that it's a 16th century English composition. It was once thought that the 16th century English composer John Redford wrote the piece, and it may be, we just don't know for sure. We do know that the text, though, comes straight from the 1549 Book of Common Prayer, actually the epistle for the 4th Sunday in Advent. But despite that specific reference, it's a piece that's really applicable to a general time of year. It doesn't have to necessarily be Advent. It's a text that really works for most any time of year that a sort of jubilant, upbeat piece is wanted. Our postlude is Psalm 20 by Benedetto Marcello. Marcello is an interesting figure. He was born in 1686 in Venice to a very wealthy noble family. And he lived until, I believe it was 1739. And his parents did not want him to go into music. They wanted him to go into law. And he did that too. He actually was a successful magistrate, and he actually also served on Venice's Council of 40, which was a governing body at the time, an elite governing body in Venice at the time, and he served on that. He wrote many psalm settings, and it's interesting, these psalms were not intended for liturgical use. They were actually intended for an academic gathering where they studied the psalms from more of a secular humanist point of view as ancient literature. And he wrote a variety of he used a variety of different compositional styles and wrote several dozen of the psalms put to music. And the most well-known is probably Psalm 19, which you'll often hear at weddings in various arrangements for organ. Psalm 20 is much less well-known, but it actually was originally written for organ, although modern adaptations obviously usually flush it out a little to make it more usable on large modern instruments such as ours. But it's a very stately piece, and it's not very well known. I hope you enjoy the music this week.